Hello everybody, welcome to the fantastic, fabulous and fantabulous session by Vedantu 9th English. My name is Pritesh, I'm your host, your host and a proud master teacher from Vedantu, welcoming you to the most expected questions for your term 2 examination happening on the 10th of May. So guys, 10th of May, it is just 3 days away, but we are not going to panic because we are absolutely prepared for the exam, and the exam is going to be rocking for all of us, right? And in the similar way, we are coming up with marathons, we are coming up with mock tests so that you can practice and practice, because practice makes everybody perfect, right? So let us look at the most expected questions from your chapters from the term 2 for your examination of science happening on the 10th of May, right? So let's quickly move ahead without any further delay. You can follow me on Instagram, and if you have any last minute questions, you know where to ask them, right? Pritesh_Vedantu, that's my Insta handle, and my 10th standard kiddos. All the super best, all the very best. You're going to do great. Trust yourself, have faith in yourself. You are going to do really very well, right? Also, apart from that, let me tell you that this is the way the next 3 days are going to be, or they are going to look like on the channel. So on the 7th of May, Shilpi ma'am is going to give you 5 top secrets of Shilpi ma'am to score 95 plus, most repeated questions in physics by Anup sir and Bhavna ma'am. I'm already telling you the most expected questions in biology, 5 guaranteed questions in science by Shilpi ma'am. Anup sir will be helping you to give you 5 tips to make you a topper in the science exam. These will happen on the 7th, 8th and 9th of May. Then I'll be taking top tips to score 100 and 100 on 100 in science in term 2 on the 8th of May. Then 9th May, Anup sir and Bhavna ma'am will be taking a marathon, a 90-minute non-stop marathon for physics. I will be taking a 90-minute non-stop marathon for bio, and Shilpi ma'am will be taking a non-stop 90-minute marathon for chemistry. Apart from that, all the 3 teachers will be taking a last-minute doubt session where all your doubts for physics, chemistry and biology will be cleared, and Shilpi ma'am, Anup sir and myself will be doing the paper discussion on the 10th of May. So make sure that this is taken as a screenshot, printed and stuck on the wall where you are studying. Apart from that guys, for your more practice, we are conducting a mock test just like your exam from morning 10:30 to afternoon 12:30, just like your science exam on the 7th, 8th and 9th of May. The links for the exam, the link for the mock test is given in the description. Make sure that you don't miss it, right? So make sure that you attempt this mock test. The link will be live at 10:30, but make sure that you take at 10:30. Just because the link is going live at 10:30 and it will be valid throughout the day doesn't mean you take it anytime. Imagine this to be your final examination and give it your complete 100%. Do it with complete grit and honesty, right? So on that note, we begin today's learning. And how do organisms reproduce? This is the first chapter. This is the first chapter whose most expected questions we'll be taking, right? So to begin with, the 2 marks question from this chapter: what is placenta, writes its function. Now you all know that placenta is a tissue that is connected to the uterus and the fetus, and it helps to absorb the nourishment, it helps to absorb the nutrients from the mother, and it also helps to give out nitrogenous waste from the fetus to the mother. So placenta is that tissue that connects the mother to the fetus. It is a disc-like structure that forms a connection between the embryo and the uterine wall of the mother. It consists of villi, which helps to increase the surface area. It exchanges the oxygen and nutrients and gives out the waste. So what is placenta is for 1 mark, functions are for 1 mark. So placenta definition, it's a disc-like structure, it's a disc-like tissue, right? It is a disc-like tissue. So for this you are going to get 1 mark. For the functions you are going to get 1 mark. So this point will get you your 1 mark. This disc-like is very important. Villi is very important over here. Then nutrients and waste. These are the 2 terms which you have to underline. So if you see in this particular question, these are the 4 terms that you have to underline. So that is the 2 mark question expected from how do organisms reproduce. Write the names of the male and the female sex hormones. Super easy. Names of the male and the female sex hormones. So over here we have got the male sex hormone as testosterone. 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 Please look at the spelling. It is testosterone, right? Look at the spelling. For female sex hormones, here we might make a mistake because it is progesterone, and estrogen. It is estrogen with a O, not estrogen. If you write this, it is wrong. Why it is wrong? Because this is your American English and this is your British English which we follow. So this is correct, this is wrong, right? So please pay attention. These are the male and the female hormones. So for female hormones, 1 mark. For male hormone, 1 mark. So the male hormone is testosterone. See, here also it is wrongly written. Here also it is wrongly written. I will definitely talk to Amit sir. It is estrogen. O-E-S-T-R-O-G-E-N. Estrogen, not estrogen. You will not say oestrogen. This I am saying so that you remember the spelling. But it is estrogen with a O. O is silent and that is how the British English uses it. Right? Do not give the examiner any chance of making you lose your marks. Mention the parts of the flower. So when we are talking of the parts of the flower, we have got the 4 floral whorls. We have got the 4 floral whorls. And these 4 floral whorls are stamen, pistil, petals and sepals. Or you can also write it as carpel, then your corolla, calyx, right, and stamen. So these are your 4 floral whorls. 4 floral whorls. Parts of the flower are the 4 floral whorls: sepals, petals, stamen, pistil. Stamen is the male reproductive part consisting of anther and filament, and pistil is the female reproductive part having styled stigma ovary. So even if you don't write this, it is fine. Even if you don't write the second and the third point, it is fine. Even if you just mention these 4 names, sepals, petals, stamen and pistil, it is more than enough. If you are not sure about the spelling of calyx, corolla, carpel, write stamen, pistil, petals and sepals. You can also write sepals, petals, androecium, gynoecium. Right? You can write any of these. So there are multiple options. Use which you are confident about. And I'll give you one more pro tip. Please don't write extra to impress the examiner. You might lose time. Don't write extra to impress the examiner. Some examiners might also get irritated why this child has written so much. So don't just show that you are very smart. Show your smartness and intelligence by writing crisp, only what is asked, underlined, neat answers. Write that and that will help you to get good marks, not extra writing. So even if you don't write the second and the third point, it is completely alright over here. So this is your next question, which was for 2 marks. Now let's deal with the 3 mark questions on how do organisms reproduce. What is prenatal sex determination and why is it banned? First of all, here you need to understand what is the meaning of the word natal. Natal means birth, which means sex determination before the birth of the child. So prenatal sex determination means trying to determine the sex of the unborn child. Trying to determine and attempt to determine the sex of the child before the child is born. Whether the child is going to be a male or a female. Why is it banned? Because it is an illegal practice which leads to female infanticide or female feticide, right? Where the fetus, if it is known that the fetus is female, there are many parts of the country where the unborn fetus or the unborn child is killed because the unborn child is a female. So it leads to female feticide. That is what you will write over here. Let us look at it. So prenatal sex determination is determining the sex of a child before it is born. It is banned as people consider girl child as a burden and thus abort her. Please, please, please try to mention the word over here, female feticide. Feticide. Side means kill. fetus is the unborn child, or fetus is the child. So female feticide, right? Or female infanticide also you can write. Stree Bhrun Hatya. What is tissue culture? What is it? What are its advantages? It is a way to grow a particular species of plants using the tissues. Using the tissues, which is called as callus. C-A-L-L-U-S, callus. C-A-L-L-U-S, callus. And what are the advantages of it? So it helps to retain the characteristics what you want. It helps to retain the characteristics what you want. That are the advantages of tissue culture. So it is the artificial method of growing plants. In this method, a small part of the plant is used to grow cells in a nutrient solution in the sterile conditions of the laboratory. The new plantlets can be grown in a short period of time. They are more likely to be free of virus and disease, and the process can be performed throughout the year. So they become perennial. And when I am talking about grow cells in a nutrient solution, that is called as callus. And from this callus, you can grow the species. From this callus, you can grow the plant species, right? And this makes them perennial. This makes them retaining the characters, and it is quick. It is quick result oriented process. It is a quick result oriented process, right? That is tissue culture. Then we move on to the next question. After this, 4 marks questions from the chapter how do organisms reproduce. Very easy. Differentiate between bisexual and unisexual flowers. A flower which has got all the 4 floral whorls, stamen, pistil, petals, sepals, is called as a bisexual or complete flower like a hibiscus. And a flower which has got only male or only female reproductive organs, or a flower which has got 4 minus 1 floral whorls, that is called as an incomplete or unisexual flower like papaya, right? Like papaya. So bisexual and unisexual flower are those. So unisexual contains only male, it contains male and female reproductive organs in separate flowers. More male flowers will contain only stamen, female flowers will contain only pistil, and they undergo cross fertilization like papaya. Bisexual flowers, they will have both male and female on the same flower. Single flower will have stamen and pistil. They will self-pollinate themselves, that is sunflower. So this is very important. If you see, the second point is a rephrasing of the first point, but then it makes your answer look very complete and appropriate. So that is how you will answer this question. 95% chances that this question will come in the exam. 95% chances that it will come in the exam. Differentiate between unisexual and bisexual flower with examples. So make sure that you remember at least 2 to 3 examples. I am going off the screen so that you can read and take a screenshot if required, right? So that is about your 4-mark question for unisexual and bisexual flower. Now guys, remember that today already Shilpi ma'am has done the 5 top secrets. Anup sir has done, Anup sir and Bhavna ma'am have done the most repeated question for physics. I am doing the most expected questions for biology, and tomorrow that is Sunday, Shilpi ma'am will be doing guaranteed question for chemistry. Anup sir will be giving you 5 tips. I will be giving you top tips to score 100 and 100, and Anup sir and Bhavna ma'am on the 9th of May, that is Monday, they will be helping you with a non-stop marathon for physics. I will be taking a non-stop marathon for bio. Shilpi ma'am will be taking a non-stop marathon for chemistry. Apart from that, on Monday also, all of us are going to meet you for a live doubt session on bio, physics, chemistry, so that you are prepared the last minute doubts for physics, chemistry, bio, and finally we will be doing the paper discussion on the 10th of May. We are also giving you a mock test which is valid today, tomorrow and day after. Every day 10:30 to 12:30 in the morning. The links are given in the description. So make sure that you take the mock test, right? And do it with complete honesty and integrity. Now, we move on to one of the most interesting chapters, heredity and evolution, right? So here, let us see the 2-mark questions. What are genes? What are genes? Where are they located? So, genes are the units of heredity that transfer characters from parent to offspring. They are located on the nucleus, which is they are located on the chromosome, sorry, which is present in the nucleus of the cell found in our body. Around 10,000 genes are present in humans, right? So genes are the units of heredity. This is super important. It is a segment of the DNA. You can also write that gene is a segment of the DNA that carries the hereditary characters from parents to offspring. You can also write it that it is a segment of the DNA. Okay? Located on the chromosome, present in the nucleus. The phenotypic and genotypic ratio of monohybrid cross, super easy and very beautiful. So here, if you give the definition of phenotypic, which is expression of physical characters, expression of physical characters, if you give this will be an added advantage, or physical appearance or external appearance. And genotype is expression of genetic combination. Right? So your genotype will be 1:2:1, TT, 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 and phenotype will be 3:1. That is tall is to dwarf. Okay? And if you are writing this, make sure that you give the key also, that T is dominant tall and T is recessive. Okay? Make sure that you mention this as well. So super easy this is. Phenotypic is 3:1, genotypic is 1:2:1. Okay? Super easy. What does the law of segregation state? 100% guaranteed. One of the three laws, at least one law will be asked. Law of inheritance, law of independent assortment, or law of dominance. Segregation. Segregation, independent assortment, or dominance. At least one will be asked, 100% guaranteed. So I am giving you 2 marks right here. I am giving you 2 marks right here. So law of segregation tells us that according to the law, only one of the two alleles. What are alleles? Alleles are alternative forms of genes. Alleles are alternative forms of genes. Out of the two alleles present in an organism is distributed to each gamete. Due to this, segregation of alleles is random. Only one of the two alleles present in an organism is distributed to each gamete. So if there is capital T, small t, and there are two sperm cells, one will get capital T, one will get small t. Right? So it is completely random. It is completely random. Now we come to the 3 marks questions, right? Chalo. What is meant by dominant and recessive gene? Give one example of each. So dominant gene is the one that expresses itself, and recessive may be present but has not expressed itself. Example, there is a hybrid tall plant, which means it is looking tall, but it might have the genes or the alleles of both tallness and dwarfness, but only the tallness has expressed itself, so that will be dominant, and the dwarf gene will be recessive. So what is dominant and recessive? The one which shows its effect in the individual is called as dominant, and one which can decide the appearance of an organism only in the presence of other identical gene, which means it should be both small t. Only then it will be expressed, that is called as recessive. Right? So in pea plants, dominant gene for tallness and the recessive gene for dwarfism is small t. So that is how you will say this, or you will write this answer. I'll give you a minute, take a screenshot if you want, or read it. Dominant alleles show their effect even if the individual only has one copy of the allele. Recessive gene can decide the appearance of an organism only in the presence of another identical gene. It is called a recessive gene. Example, in the pea plant, the dominant gene for tallness is capital T and the recessive for dwarfism is small t. Why did Mendel choose pea plant? This is also very common, very commonly asked question. It is quite a possibility that it will be asked because easy to grow, perennial, can be grown anywhere, has 7 contrasting characters, right? Can be crossbred very easily. So easy to grow, very short lifetime, it produces large flowers, self-pollinated, and it has got a variety of characters, right? Like pod shape, pod color, seed shape, tallness, like that is the height, flower color, flower position. There are 7 contrasting characters that can be studied in the pea plant. So apart from that, you can also write that they are perennial. They are perennial. They are perennial. They have 7 pairs of contrasting characters, right? So this should be one of your most favorite chapters because it is that easy to score an answer. And now we come to the 4-mark questions from this chapter. Sahil performed an experiment to study the inheritance patterns of genes. He crossed tall T with short p and obtained all tall in F1, that is 3:1, 1:2:1. What will be the set of genes present in the F1 generation? Set of genes will be big, that is 1:2:1. Homozygous tall, heterozygous tall, homozygous dwarf. Give reason why only tall plants are observed, because tallness is the dominant gene. When F1 were self-pollinated, you got 800 plants. How many of them will be tall, medium height or short plants? Give the genotype. So for F2 generation, the genotype will be 9:3:3:1. Right? So out of 800, you have to do the Punnett square and tell how many will be tall and how many will be dwarf. Right? So, sorry, this will be 1:2:1. So, the set of genes will be big T, small t. The traits, what I told you, 9:3:3:1 is for dihybrid cross. I'm sorry, so please excuse me for that. Traits like T are called the dominant traits, whereas small t are recessive. Out of 800 plants, 600 will be tall, 200 will be dwarf. Okay, because it is 1:2:1. Chalo. Now, we come to the final chapter, our environment. Oh, why only 10% energy is transferred to the next topic level? Guaranteed question. I have already given you like 2 plus 5 plus 2, 7 plus 2, 9 marks I have already given you. It is because the rest of the energy is utilized to carry out the different life processes like respiration, nutrition, excretion, hormonal system, etc., etc. So only 10% of the energy can be transferred because the remaining energy is utilized to carry out the metabolic activities. The amount of energy at each tropic level decreases as it moves through an ecosystem. As little as 10% of the energy at any tropic level is transferred to the next. The rest is lost largely through the metabolic processes as heat, as I told you. So the remaining 90% of the energy is utilized by the organism to carry out his or her own metabolic activities. Why is the ozone layer important for the existence of life on Earth? Because it traps the harmful UV radiations. And if the UV radiations are exposed to the human skin, cataract, damage to the DNA, damage to the immune system, skin cancer and damage to plants can happen. So, the ozone layer acts as a shield for life on Earth. It is good at trapping a type of radiation called the UV radiation or UV light, which can penetrate organisms' protective layers like skin, damaging the DNA in both plants and animals, causing mutations. Right? Chalo. We do not clean ponds or lakes, but an aquarium needs to be cleaned regularly. Why? Very, very beautiful. Very, very beautiful and a thinking hot question this is. Because ponds and lakes are natural ecosystem, they have decomposers who will clean the waste by decomposing it. Whereas in an aquarium, there are no decomposers, that is why we have to clean it. You need not write such a big answer. 2 points are more than enough for this. That ponds and lakes are natural ecosystem having natural decomposers who will consume the organic waste and keep the lake or pond clean. Whereas in an aquarium, due to the absence of natural decomposers, it becomes important for us to clean it regularly. Right? Then, 3-mark question is quite an easy chapter. I think your term 2 biology is super easy. Explain how the making of kulhards affects our environment. So these are some which are found in the northern side of the country. They are made of topsoil found on the banks of river. It is not an eco-friendly decision to make earthen kullad. Acha. So kullad is something with which you know, आजकल तो बहुत it's very famous these days, kullad tea. So they give tea in that kullad. Kullad is an earthen, small earthen flask, you can say, right? It is used to fulfill the large demand of kullads. A large quantity of upper layer of the fertile soil is used. If you keep on losing the fertile soil, it is unfit for any agricultural country. Super easy, right? I got confused with kulls of the northern India. State differences between a consumer and producer. Wow, if this paper comes now, then I'm sure you're going to come running to Bangalore and give me a tight hug. That's how this was the easiest paper we could have ever imagined. Such an easy chapter. Difference between consumer and producer. So again we came to kullad actually. Okay, so here is a mistake. Anyway, so consumer is someone who consumes the energy and producer is someone who generates the food. Define a food web and state its significance for an ecosystem. So food web is a network of food chains which are interconnected at various trophic levels to form a number of feeding relationships among different organisms of the biotic or the living community. The food web provide the alternative pathway of food availability. For example, if a particular crop is destroyed, the herbivores can graze on other crop or vegetation. It helps to maintain the stability, it helps to check the overpopulation, and it also helps to develop the ecosystem. Very easy. Not food web can be asked and significance can also be asked. So I would say that this is an 80% expected question in the exam. So with that guys, remember that today already Shilpi ma'am has taken your class for tips to score 95 plus. Anup sir and Bhavna ma'am will be giving you the most repeated questions. I am already taking the most expected ones. Tomorrow, Shilpi ma'am will be giving you the 5 guaranteed questions in your science exam for chemistry. Anup sir will be giving you tips to score like a topper, and I will be giving you top tips to score 100 on 100. Then on Monday, there is a non-stop marathon by Anup sir, Bhavna ma'am, by myself for biology, and by Shilpi ma'am for chemistry. Then we'll be also doing a last minute doubt session. All the 3 teachers from all the 3 subjects will be doing a last minute doubt session, and eventually all of us will be discussing your paper on the 10th of May. So guys, all the very best. Do not forget that there is a mock test every day, today, tomorrow and day after, from 10:30 to 12:30 in the morning, and the link for the mock test is given in the description. Make sure that you take the test on these times only, because that will prepare you to write your science exam, right? Apart from that guys, yeah, so we come to the end. Thank you so much, all the very best. I'm sure you're going to do great. Trust yourself. It is not that difficult. Super easy 3 chapters guys. Our environment, how do organisms reproduce, heredity and evolution. It is very, very easy, right? So let us do that together, and we are definitely going to win, right? We shall overcome, we shall overcome, we shall overcome one day. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome one day. And that day is going to be 10th of May for all of us, right? All the very best guys. God bless you. Do not forget to give this video a big fat thumbs up. Do share it with everyone, because now is the time that you do share it with everyone. And remember, hashtag each one get one. Thank you so much. This is Pritesh, your host and host, signing off. Take care. Bye-bye.